Hello YouTube. It is Monday, May 21st. So as y'all can tell, this is the third video in my 4-week series and I leave on Saturday. Basically I got scheduled every day but like 2 at work, and for my work we go in at 3 for the night shifts, which is what I usually work, but we go in at 3 and usually don't get off until like 1:30 in the morning. So basically I was at work for that whole time, and then I would sleep in pretty late, and then either kind of just chill until I had to go in again or try to go get in a quick workout. So honestly I just like did not have time to film, but if you keep up with me on my Instagram, I have been posting like quite a bit of updates there about everything, and that's Sydney T Fitness, if you do want to follow it. But yeah, so sorry about that, but I did not think I was gonna be working that much. Apparently we were really low on girls right now. Hopefully when I get back from the beach it won't be like that, and I'll only have to work like 2 to 3 of those really long shifts. We'll see. But anyways, update in case you like don't follow my Instagram and don't keep up with me on there, and that's kind of what will lead into the topic of this video. But after like a week and a half I did stop tracking macros, and it was mainly just because I caught myself, I was gonna stop tracking anyways after the 4 weeks, but I kind of saw myself falling back into some really bad old habits, binging, purge urges, and just like things that I don't like think are worth 4 weeks of tracking. So that's basically why I stopped, and I just didn't really think it was like worth it. And I was still making really good progress even after stopping. I actually like finally dropped weight. I think it's just because of the stress that I took off of myself, but yeah, so I've still made really good progress. I didn't like stop my cut or anything, I just stopped tracking every day. Now I did come home this weekend and kind of probably ate too much for a cut, but that's okay. I'm not super worried about it. I probably should have like chilled a little bit, but that's kind of the balance I'm trying to find with an intuitive cut. Is just because you're not tracking doesn't mean you can have a cheat whenever you want. If you're cutting, like, you know, you still gotta have the balance, which I wasn't told this weekend, but as with my family, it's okay. But anyways, on to the topic of this video. So I asked you guys on my Instagram if you would want a video kind of about my experience with both intuitive eating and tracking, and which one I think is better or what you should do, whatever. So let's start with my first experience of tracking. So when I first tracked, it was very restrictive tracking, and it was all calories, not macros, and that's like a whole nother story. But so that was kind of my first experience with tracking, was the MyFitnessPal, trying to hit 1200 calories. It was like amazing day if I hit 1000, like that kind of stuff. That's when I got like to a really low weight, like 30 pounds less than I am now. And so that happened, and then throughout my recovery for a while I just did intuitive eating, and then whenever I wanted to do a real bulk, I began tracking with like a coach, and we tracked for my whole bulk, and that experience with tracking was so good. Tracked my macros, which I didn't really know much about before, so we tracked carbs, protein, fat, and total calories, because obviously those 3 add up to your total calories. But and it wasn't super, because it was a bulk and my goal was to get to a healthy weight and put on muscle, so it wasn't like super strict. Like I definitely had a lot of off days where I just kind of like would go out to eat and not really worry about, because like I'm trying to grow anyways. So but yeah, that was a great, like amazing experience with tracking all the way through. It allowed me to not put on like too much weight and do it in a progressive manner, and it taught me a lot about how my body reacts to certain foods, how my workouts are fueled the best, like with what amount of carbs and what amount of fat, etc. I learned a lot about what was in foods. I remember I tracked a banana and I was like, wait, this is gonna sound really dumb, but I literally was like, wait, why is that? It's like all carbs, like that's all that's in it. So I just learned a lot about food, and it was definitely a very positive, helpful experience. And so that is kind of my positive side of tracking, is that if you've never done it before, I think everybody should, at least for like a couple of weeks, just to learn, because you really will learn so much. Like, I learned that if I eat about 40 to 50 grams of carbs pre-workout, I will feel really good. If I eat 20 carbs and 10 grams of fat before my workout, I'm probably gonna feel like really sluggish. And everybody is totally different. That's why it's hard for me to like give a straight black and white answer, because everybody runs totally different. But that's why I think it's important to at least try for a little bit, just to learn about your body, how it reacts, and like what amount ish you should be eating. Because so if you are trying to lose weight, your body intuitively doesn't want to do that. Like, it thinks that you're starving whenever it has to lose fat. So intuitively, this is where the word intuitive eating can be taken kind of wrong. So intuitively, your body wants to stay where it's at, wants to stay at maintenance. So what it's intuitively telling you to do is going to be more just to maintain where you're at, which is totally fine for some people. That's been my goal before. But like right now, intuitively cutting is more of like, I'm not tracking, but I intuitively, like, I know my goals, so I'm making the decisions that I probably would basically when I'm tracking, just with more freedom. So like, instead of just because my body is like, oh my god, I want a huge Chipotle, blah blah blah, that's because I'm hungry, because I'm cutting. So like, I have to remember that and choose like lower carb options sometimes and stuff like that. But anyways, back to like where I was at. So yeah, I did that whole bulk tracking and it was a great experience. Learned a ton. Then I really just got sick of tracking. Like, I was like, this is getting really annoying. Like, and it was getting to the point where I just didn't ever want to go out to eat with friends because I couldn't track it, because I was starting to cut now. So I was having to be more strict with actually hitting my numbers, and it was just really freaking annoying to me. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. So started intuitive eating. It was so scary at first, it really was. And then so this is gonna skip a couple years, very short summary. Over the years, I went back and forth between tracking and intuitive eating for a while. And then, so this school year was mainly intuitive eating, and that's kind of when I learned how smart my body was. I maintained the same exact weight for literally like 3 months. And like, because of my experience with tracking, I know a lot about foods. So I think I was probably hitting my protein every day around what it needed to be, and I was probably eating about the carbs that I should. But the difference was that I could go out to eat and not worry about it. I could go out and not worry about it. And I maintained my weight for like 3 months, and I finally realized like how smart our bodies truly are. Like, I don't have to track. I really don't. And then whenever I did start tracking again for this cut, I realized that more of my mindset now, I like to be social, and I love to go out to eat with my friends and my family, and that kind of stuff. And it was just like, tracking was just annoying to me, because I think I have gained so much knowledge from tracking that I don't need to anymore. So like, whenever I'm doing it, it's literally just like, because I feel like I have to. And then when I do that, and I say like, somebody texts me, ow, I just hit my toe. Somebody texts me like, do you want to go to dinner? And I'm like, well shoot, I already had my dinner tracked, and it like throws me off and whatever. And then like, if I do go eat it, I'll just like be like, well, I already went off track, so now I might as well get the worst thing on the menu and then go get ice cream after, and then eat a snack after that because I feel guilty, which is like a horrible cycle. Like, so bad, and it's so mentally draining and ruins your progress. And so for me, I'd rather just be intuitive, and if I want to go eat, you know, if I want a couple bites of something, or I do want something bad, like, you know, that's not like gonna go out of proportion, and that works better for me. And I think it's just because I don't need to track really. I think I can intuitively do a cut. I know about the macros I need to be hitting every day to lose weight and I know about like what foods would make those up, just from my experience with tracking. That's the positive side of tracking. I think everybody should do it at least once, just to learn. And anyways, so yeah, and like I know I'm gonna be hungry sometimes, so I can't literally always listen to my body because my body doesn't want to lose weight right now. But yeah, so that's kind of that. Basically I stopped just because I was getting really bad binge. Well, I was binging, and then I would just like have the need to purge. Like I used to throw up some and that kind of stuff. That's a totally different topic, but I was like getting those urges again, and that's just not okay. So that's why I stopped. So I'm gonna like do a quick overview summary of like what I just said. So tracking, I think it is great for everybody to do at least once. You will literally learn so much about your body, about what's in foods, and about like if you're tracking your set macros for your goals, you'll kind of see what it looks like, and you can, you know, switch out the sweet potatoes you had that one day for rice or for cereal, but you'll know that like your breakfast should probably be lower carb, like that kind of stuff. You'll just learn a lot. So definitely recommend it. Not saying you have to do it forever or do it every single day even, but definitely just like to learn. Downsides of it, it's if you're tracking every single day, you just have to make sure that if you're not competing or anything, you don't let it take over your life. And if somebody wants to go eat, you either don't go, number one, or you go and have a terrible binge, and it leads into this cycle of waiting till the weekend to binge, and then, you know, like, just don't let it get like that, you know, because that's not healthy at all. And then tracking on the other side, for competitors and stuff, or for like a very big goal, for sure, like I think it can be a great tool. Maybe if it's not as big of a goal or as strict of a goal, you know, very lightly track, that kind of thing. But like for competitors, like if I did ever choose to compete down the road, which is not in my future right now, I'm definitely gonna finish out college before I decide that. But like if I ever did, yeah, of course I would track my macros, because like it's for a competition and like that's what I would need to do. But right now, like my goal is to lose a little bit of fat, but I'm not gonna like kill myself over it, you know? So yeah, that's my take on macros, intuitive eating. I think it's great. I think if you do have a past of tracking macros or calories, it does take a while because your body doesn't really have the right cues yet. So it takes a while to get your hormones back right and your body used to telling you what it wants, because it's used to you just like forcing it to do stuff all the time. So it does take a while, it takes patience, and it takes some messing up and learning, but I do think it's totally worth it to not fear food anymore and to trust your body, because they really truly are so smart. Like I definitely have learned that I can maintain a weight just totally intuitive eating, and then I have learned that I can cut intuitive eating. I just have to remember that my body's gonna tell me sometimes that it's hungry, and that's okay, because that's like my goal is fat loss, and like you're gonna be hungry sometimes if you're trying to lose weight. Like that's just how it is. So yeah, so I do think it can be done intuitively. I just think it might take a little bit more time, because transferring out of tracking to intuitive eating can be really hard. So I would definitely get used to just the intuitive maintenance first before you try to like cut intuitively, because it does take a little bit more like knowledge about macros and stuff to do it, because you still need that knowledge. And yeah, so I don't think either one is bad. I think it totally depends on where you're at, what you're doing, your past with food, your mindset at the time, just like where you're at in life. Like if you're in a really social time of your life, or you know, like you have huge goals, whatever. I don't think there's a right or a wrong, so sorry if you were hoping that was going to be the end result of this video, but I do definitely think everybody should track once. I think it helped me greatly in just my knowledge of everything, but if it's starting to stress you out, stop. Trust yourself, trust the knowledge that you've learned, trust your body, you know, just like live your life. I don't really think it's necessary. If you're not trying to compete or anything, I don't see why you would do it like all the time, I just think that's a little bit not fun. But you know, you do you. And I hope this video helps you guys kind of like get some perspective, and that's just like my experience with it, and that's what I have seen. So yeah, right now intuitive eating, keeping in mind what I'm eating. So like I kind of have in the back of my head what I'm eating, but like not tracking into a phone and stuff. And like if I do got to eat, just don't worry about it. Try to make good decisions, have a balance. That's where I'm at right now. Like I said, way down the road, who knows what I'll be doing. But right now, that's what I'm doing. And I hope this video helped you guys. And sorry about my series turning into like a 3 or maybe 4 episode thing, but you know, can't really film while I'm waitressing. So I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.